Welcome to this week's Ask Charlie. Yes, I am still in my kitchen, but I felt it would be wrong not to share this recipe with you. It's my elderflower cordial, and I get so many questions every year about how I make it. So I thought I would share exactly what I do with you all. I have been making elderflower cordial for so many years now, ever since I was a little girl with Mum. Would go out foraging and make it, but actually Simon doesn't drink. And so he loves my elderflower because actually it's got a third the amount of sugar. Yep, you heard it right, a third of the amount of sugar to regular elderflower cordial recipes. It doesn't need to be really syrupy and really sugary. And you know, if he goes out for an evening and he's just drinking elderflower cordial, he comes back on a sugar high. But with mine, it doesn't have that impact. It's much lighter. It's really refreshing and it's such a delicious drink. So enough waffle from me, let's get going. So I'm just going to put my elderflower heads into my sieve. Now, people get confused sometimes. I get lots of questions about what does an elderflower look like. Let's pick a good one. That was quite a good one. So it is like that, and I am going to show you exactly, you know, how I forage for them. But lots of people get confused with cow parsley or hemlock. Now hemlock is actually really poisonous, so don't be confused. It's got a really lovely fragrant smell to it, which the others don't have, so that's a really good way of testing. And it grows on a tree. So cow parsley and hemlock grow out of the ground and grow upwards, whereas this you're going to be picking normally from overhead, and sometimes the branches might be low or whatever. And that is a leaf, so you know what to look out for. So I've got approximately 30 heads in here, and I'm just going to give them a light rinse. Obviously, if they're by the side of the road, you might want to give them a little bit more of a rinse, but these have just been out, you know, in the fresh air without any cars driving past or anything like that. So just a little quick rinse just to wash the bugs off. You don't want to over rinse because you'll get a lot of the pollen will come out, and actually that really helps with the flavour. So those are just dripping over there, and I'm going to slice up my oranges. Now I use 2 oranges and 3 lemons. A lot of people just use lemons, and that's fine. I just actually love the flavour that the orange gives as well. I think it makes it really delicious and quite fresh. So just slice your oranges and lemons just roughly. Doesn't need to be exact at all. And any juice that comes out, save that and it can go into your pan. You can use you know, big bowl or a big saucepan. We are using boiling water, so rather than using a really beautiful bowl, I'm actually just using a pan because I don't want it to crack with the boiling water. I have got my caster sugar in there. I'm using white sugar because it gives a better colour. That's really the only reason why. And I've got boiling water here. I'm just going to measure out 3 pints, which is just a little less than 2 litres. So it's 180 ml. Again, it doesn't need to be exact, but that's basically a kettle full. And then just carefully pour that over, and you want to melt your sugar. So just give it, the steam's coming up, give it a good stir until that sugar has dissolved. And I'm going to add my citric acid. I've got 50 grams of citric acid, and I'm adding in that now. Now you can buy citric acid from a chemist, from a pharmacist, but you can also get it online in bulk. Make sure you get a food grade one, and I just buy it sort of in big packets because the chemist used to see me coming at this time of year and be like, oh no, she's back, and I'd buy about 10 boxes. at one go. So, you know, better to order online if you're going to be making, you know, more than 1 or 2 batches. Now that has all dissolved. I'm just going to leave it for a moment before I add in my elderflowers. And then for your elderflowers, and just make sure that you take out any, you know, bits that you don't want in there. It's really that simple. And just give it a stir, give it a bash down, and leave it for 24 hours. Leave it there. I actually just put a muslin over the top so no bugs or flies or anything can get in. Just leave it, and occasionally I will give it a prod and try and, you know, squish the oranges and lemons a little bit and get a little bit of that juice coming out too. Just give it a prod from time to time, and then yeah, wait for it to do its thing. My elderflower has been sitting here for the last 24 hours. It's smelling incredible. It's really fragrant. I'm just going to give it a really good kind of prod down and just get some of those juices coming out again of the oranges and the lemons. I've been prodding it a lot of, you know, from time to time the last day. Now, these muslins are old muzzies from the children. This one actually I've used for making quince jelly, so it's got a funny mark. Trust me, it's clean. Now I double muslin, and this is the secret, and it's why actually I wanted to make this video to show you how I do it, because so many people get in touch and say, oh Charlie, what do you do about the little bugs? Those wretched little black thunderbugs will go through a muslin. So that's why I double muzzy. Now, I'm literally just going to pour this. Let's make a little bit more of a well in there, otherwise it's going to splash me. Just pour these. And this is why I also recommend just making 1 batch at a time. Don't double it up, because otherwise you can't get it all in to your muslin. So just pick them up. Now, baby muzzies are better than the purpose bought muslins because they have got a closer weave. So if you buy a muslin for preserving, it's got a thicker weave, so more things can get through. So this is why I actually use the children's old muzzies. And using the double layer, you don't get any thunderbugs in there, which is perfect, because actually it's really, really unattractive when you go to serve somebody some elderflower cordial and there's little bits floating around in it and you want to pick them out. You know, it's just not very pleasant. So there is the way I do it. And I'm just also going to give this a little bit of a squeeze. And again, if you used the thicker weave muzzy and squeezing it, you'd be in trouble. Lots of things would pop out. We'll give it a bit of a squeeze and get those juices out. It smells so good. This is my first batch of the season. Now, you also need to think about bottling it and what you're going to do with it and how to store it. So let's chat about that. I've just got a jug here, and this batch I know is going to be drunk pretty quickly by my lot, who gets super excited about elderflower cordial. But I do keep plastic bottles. I save them and I pour the elderflower into the plastic bottles. Leave a little bit of a gap at the top, because if you're freezing them, it expands. So you want to leave a little bit of space, and it freezes so well. Now, elderflower cordial should be kept in the fridge. So once you've made this, put it into, you know, glass bottle, a jug, whatever it might be, and store it in the fridge or freeze it immediately. And it's really quite as simple as that. So I think, you know, just when you've foraged, when you've got your elderflowers, don't leave them for, you know, you can leave them for a couple of hours, but I wouldn't leave them until the following day. Just get going with them while they're fresh and make them, you know, into the cordial. You've also got to be quite careful of which elderflowers you pick. Don't overpick from one bush, because it can affect that bush for years to follow. So the rule is actually to take 1/3 of the elderflower heads and leave 2/3, and that will just keep the bush healthy and, you know, give it a long lease of life for years to come. So my other top tip is to make sure when you pick your elderflower heads that the heads are fully open and they're fully in flower. So they look like little white hundreds and thousands before the flower has properly opened up. And so if you've got those hundreds and thousands on the elderflower head, you know that it's not quite ready to pick. So wait, and probably in a day's time it will be fully open and you know that you can pick it. They're only ready pickable for a small window of opportunity. It's normally about 2 to 3 weeks. Obviously it depends on the weather and where you are. I think if the elderflowers are in more sunlight, then they're ready earlier. If they're in shady areas, then sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But they're just so fabulous. They make the most gorgeous cordial. You can add rose petals in as well. I often do that, and it just has this sort of really delicate rose flavour throughout the cordial, which is really yummy too. And so I really recommend you give it a whirl. Hopefully my top tips have been really helpful for you as well. It's so delicious and really a great thing. I use it in lots of different recipes as well. I will put some in, you know, my Victoria sponge. I'll put a little bit, rather than putting vanilla essence, I'll put a couple of teaspoons of elderflower syrup. So this is the syrup, and then to drink it you just dilute it like a normal squash. So in here I've just got some ice cubes, a bit of elderflower and some sparkling water. So we've got a soda stream which I love and use not all the time, but quite a lot of the time. So you just literally dilute it. You don't need to use fizzy water. You can just use, you know, regular water. But just remember that that is the concentrate, so you want to dilute it before you drink it. You can make ice lollies for the children, all sorts of different things. It's really refreshing and a great summer drink. I'm gonna have a sip now. I can't wait. So good. So I really hope that you found this video helpful. Please give it a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. Share it with other people. Spread the word. Wishing you a really happy weekend, and I will see you again next week. It's Q&A time, so please remember to ask me your questions. I know I said that this week was Q&A, but actually while the elderflowers were ready, I wanted to share this with you as early as possible. I didn't want to wait till next week and the elderflowers be kind of diminishing and over their best. So that's why I've swapped them round. Anyway, loads and loads of love. Thank you for tuning in, and see you soon.